Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Beamer, owner-operator of Explicitly Dyed Art by Science, and we are back with part number 2 of the plying video that I'm doing, and the spindle is naked. So, where did all that yarn go? Well, I'm going to show you here in a second. So, I've taken all of the yarn off of here, and it is currently sitting on my ball winder, which I'm going to remove carefully from the table without breaking it, maybe. Oh, okay, there we go. So as you can see, I got this nice little ball of yarn on here, and this is the end, right here. This is the inside. Now when you take this off, what I like to do is just try my hardest to keep this together. So I'm going to take this piece of yarn off, right? And I'm going to use my thumb. I'm going to push down with my thumb and bring this up with both sides. Let's see if I get this in the film. Here. Like so. Good. And normally the ball of yarn that I have here is a lot bigger. Anyway, so you want to keep the two ends handy. This is going to be important because you're going to tie them together onto your spindle. Okay? Now, I'm going to have to give you a little trick because inevitably you'll start spinning and then something else will distract you. Or, maybe you are working a lot of overtime and you come home and you're exhausted. You're like, all I'm going to do is go to bed right now. I've been there. So, the spindle and the fiber, as much as you want to work on it, just sits there. And what happens is you have latent twist in your yarn. So, because it's been stretched out on the spindle for so long, right? It's been sitting on here for so long, the tension and the weight, like the stuff that's closer to the shaft, is going to have more weight on it because, as you build onto it, it's going to compress more, and you're adding more weight to it by spinning more fiber. So basically, you're going to you're kind of beating the twist into the fiber. You haven't actually set the twist, but it's still going to be not very twisty when you get to this stage. But I'm going to show you a couple of tricks. First, when you are planning to ply your yarn, say like, okay, I'm going to take this fiber and this is going to be a 2-ply by the time I'm finished, what I encourage you to do is take a sample. So I spun this up. This is probably, I don't know, 18 inches long, so you have to double that in order to get approximately this length, right? And then I've added all the twists that I want, and then I basically just let it ply on itself. What you do is, to have it ply on yourself, you'll hold out a length, double it over, grab the two ends and the middle, and then you sort of like help it twist on itself, and that's how you'll get a natural ply like this. This really is just how much twist you've added and how much twist has come out of it in order to get a balanced yarn. So you see how it's like not twisting or kinking up on itself? That means it's taken out enough twist on the other single that's with it, such that it is now a balanced yarn. So get another close-up shot, hopefully. That focused. Okay. And this is really handy to have also if you have this problem, which is what I've got right now. So the twist has been just sitting there for so long, it doesn't want to just naturally twist on itself. So I'm going to use this as a guide so that I make sure that I add enough twist in order to make sure I will get a balanced yarn when I've done all the washing and the setting process. The other thing I will say is make sure that you keep this handy, but if you don't keep it handy, another thing that you can do is you can take off a length, twist it on itself, soak it in some hot water, don't agitate it, just soak it in some hot water for about 10 minutes, gently wring out the water, and then it'll magically reactivate the twist in the yarn. And it should turn out to look something like this. So if you, decide in the future, oh, you know what, I kind of wanted to make this a plied yarn, but it's been sitting so long you don't know how much twist is in it and what the ply is going to look like. then you can do this sample, and then when you go to make your ply, even if while you're plying it looks like, ooh, I think I'm adding too much twist, if it looks like this, then you've probably added just enough. If you don't, what's going to happen is if you've underplied it because it looks like it's plied, it looks like it's balanced. If you've taken it off, done all the washing, what happens is like when you start to knit with it, or crochet or whatever craft you're going to do with it, what's going to happen is the yarn is going to want to ply some more in order to get rid of this active twist. And so you're going to have like bias knitting, and then a whole other group of problems will come up. They'll make the experience a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So just, you know, take 10 minutes to do this. Let it dry. You don't even really have to let it dry, just so that you can see what it looks like as it's plied. So let's get all that out of the way. Now, this was actually magic for me when I first started doing this. All I've done is tied the two ends together here on my leader, and where I was going, what was it, clockwise? Yeah, clockwise. I'm going to be going counterclockwise in order to ply it. So I'm going to just load this up with some twists to get it started. Here. And this is going to go a lot faster than the spinning part. Alright, so I've added some twist, and basically, you can see that right? It's a little bit flat, but once I wash it, it's going to puff up a little bit like this is. See how it's very squishy and soft. I love it. Okay, this is going to be a little bit dead looking until I wash it, but if you just look at this section here, you see how it's starting to twist on itself? That's because it's kind of been relaxed in the amount of twist that it has right now, but I know from looking at my sample that this is probably going to be a balanced yarn when I'm all done. Like, I'm 99.9% sure it's going to be balanced. Every once in a while it's not, and then I have to go back and either add or take out some of the twist, but most of the time I get it dead on, and even if you're a beginner and it's absolutely not perfect, it's going to turn out fine in the end as long as you're trying to stay as close to your guide as possible. And then I'm getting this onto the spindle. I'm going to do my half hitch here. If there's anything in this video series that you don't understand what I'm doing, be sure to come back after you've watched the other videos where I talk about plying or I talk about spinning. That'll sort of demystify some of the things that I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to add some twist. And you can most certainly do your park and draft method here. So I've added up a lot of twist. And what I'm basically going to do is just holding these two pieces together, I'm going to just slide my hand out like this. Add a little bit of twist as necessary. It's very important when you first start to keep checking what the twist or what the ply is actually looking like, because you want it to be balanced. So kind of like try to get it as close to this as you can. The fiber is very forgiving, so you don't really have to stress out about this step. In fact, I encourage you not to, because it'll make you scared like I was. I didn't start plying yarn until, like, I don't know, a year after I learned how to spin. So it's really not a scary step, and you really can't mess it up. If you end up putting too little twist in it, you can always take some of the twist out, or you can always add more twist. If you put too much in, you can always take some of it out. It's really not a huge deal, so don't worry about it. Just make sure that you're going in the opposite direction of the singles, because if you don't, it's not going to work. It's just going to twist it more in the same direction it was spun. So you can see how it's really starting to look like the sample here. So even though, like I said, it's twisting up right here, that's totally fine because it looks like the sample. And I'm trusting that the sample isn't, you know, pulling the wool over my eyes, so to speak. All right, getting it on there. Also, when you are applying, you might want to have a slightly heavier whirl. So this one is, I think, just shy of 2 ounces. This particular spindle, and I have to spend a lot more time making sure there's enough twist in it because the more, well, the heavier the yarn is, right? This is probably a bulky 3 or so stitches per inch that I'm making right now. If you have a really thick yarn, what's going to happen is a twist is going to, it won't load up as easily as it does for the single. So it's going to backspin a lot sooner than it would otherwise. So you have to spend a little bit more time getting the twist in there. All right. So that's basically it. You just keep going counterclockwise, loading it up with the twists, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks when it's all put on here. And then hopefully I will be able to post up some photos, like some really nice photographs for you guys to see on Facebook. So this would be a good time to talk about Facebook. You can fan me, or fan me. You can become a fan. I actually run a lot of deals on there throughout the month. I think right now I have a really sweet discount, so if you are just now watching this video, you should head over there and check out the discount. It's something that I don't normally run, so you might want to take advantage of it while you can, especially since during the fall there's going to be everyone coming out with their new colors, but it's going to be full price. Anyway, so I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to come back with part 3, and I'm going to do a couple of tips for you. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay ready for part 3.